That's so funny.
Oh, lick my nutsack.
Oh man, that's the funniest thing I've heard all day, Sean.
Hey, Tyler, we're not doing an intro.
Why aren't we doing an intro?
Because I am furious.
Why are you furious?
Because we just didn't record for 20 minutes.
20 whole minutes.
20 whole minces. Okay. All right, so I was asking Tyler a series of questions.
It was.
And or made a series of statements with which Tyler could agree or disagree.
So what were you drinking while you did that?
Oh, I was drinking just a tiny bit of crap. What's it called?
Don't drink a tiny bit of crap.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I saw the thing with the two girls and I thought it looked fun, but I was wrong.
Well, I was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, I don't care anymore. I was making a series of statements, and Tyler was saying whether he strongly agreed, disagreed, strongly agreed, whatever, with these statements, and I was also agreeing or disagreeing with them. I will tell you what they were. The first one: if economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interest of transnational corporations. Tyler and I both said disagree. Next one: I'd always support my country, whether it was right or wrong. Tyler disagreed. I strongly agreed. Next: no one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. We both strongly disagreed. Next: our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. Strongly disagree and disagree. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Disagree and agree. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. Strongly agree, strongly agree. There we go. Now for the next question.
That was 20 minutes, by the way.
Yeah. There is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment.
Yes. I agree. I had to think about it because I had to think about some situations because that could mean two things, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could be positive and negative.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing... Okay, so have you discovered my Twitter page yet?
No.
You accidentally would have because I commented on one of your tweets today. You might not know it was me because it doesn't have my name.
Oh. I didn't even see that anyone commented on a tweet of mine today.
I did.
The gay sex thing. You're the gay sex person.
That's me. I'm the lesbian polar bears. So I've been thinking about that a lot recently with that thing. So recently they have the thing where Peppa Pig now has a lesbian couple as some of its star characters, if you will. So that's one of the situations in which I think information and entertainment are coming together, and they shouldn't. There's information that just doesn't need to be to children, and that technically is their entertainment. So I'm going to count it as such.
Exactly.
So when I think about that, I strongly agree. I guess we came from an age, you and I, where it was a really great thing to have this combination, whether it was, I don't know, Magic School Bus, whatever.
Yeah.
Now that is now having things brought into it that don't really need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where I'm at. And I don't, on one hand, I really, really want to be, I really want to be a libertarian and say I don't care. But man, I really start to care.
Yeah, that's the thing. It is not the fusion of information and entertainment that's worrying. What's worrying is what information is being fused with the entertainment.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, I'm eating Funyuns while I talk to you. That's the only thing that matters with that statement. I don't know. The libertarian in me wants to not care, but the father in me has to.
Okay, next. Let's see what the libertarian in you has to say about this.
If we had any viewers, we lost them.
People are ultimately divided more by class than by nationality.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's the strongest degree of all time. I mean, so you're literally talking about the start of slavery in the start of racism in the United States. So you have like that's like a pretty well documented we'll say case. That's the wrong term for it here, but it's a very, very well documented thing where they had these slave owners on plantations that were essentially taking a handful of white people and putting them over. They were slaves or indentured servants, either one. You had both for white people and black people. There were slaves and indentured servants. Granted, most of the people who were indentured servants were white people. That's just the way that it was. But when you have that, you had these people that slave owners essentially put them in charge of the people who were technically on the same level as them for their entire life, or their entire time on this plantation, we'll say, and put them in charge of them. And then the human thing happens where we start to like think of ourselves as superior, which is also the prison. What do they call it? What was that study called where they took people and they made them become like people who were in charge of torturing prisoners?
Oh,
I wish I could remember the name of the study, but whatever, you get the idea.
Yeah.
But essentially, that's exactly how you divide people.
So, okay, okay. So I interpreted the question slightly differently. Not it is class that divides people, that causes division. I didn't read it as it is class that causes division among people, more so than nationality. I interpreted the question as when you see clusters of people, zoom way back and see clusters of people, the divisions you see between the clusters of people, this group is divided, like this group is separate from that group, and those dividing lines are more class lines than they are nationality lines. And looking at it through that lens, I disagreed with that, looking at it through that way, because you typically see, you're much more likely to see, say if you go to, go to a country that's a little bit less of a mutt everybody's together kind of deal.
India is a perfect example, so you can go ahead and use it. It's perfect.
Well, okay, so yeah, so in India, there is no nationality other than Indians. That's the only division is by class. But I mean, but then if you go to, go to Japan, right? There are class divisions, notable class divisions in Japan, or Muslim countries. They have the same kind of thing. There are class divisions, but the division that separates a Japanese from a non-Japanese, or a Muslim from a non-Muslim in a Muslim country is so much greater than any class divide that you'll see there. So it is in any place other than this, in any place other than where, like in America, the nationality is American and who cares where you came from. In any place other than that, you'll see significantly more nationality divisions than you will class divisions. And that's where my, I'm not saying they should be, but they tend to be in most places.
I think both of us are giving right answers right now.
I think we're just defining divide differently.
Yeah, they're really right answers, because this is the way. I mean, I hate to be the guy that's like, the upper class is blah 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 blah, but the upper class is blah 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 blah. Because this is how. I mean, like, you think about how. I'll complain that you and I can share, and I find some common ground on this statement where we can come in the middle. The government is doing what the government is doing by destroying the middle class.
But also,
so I mean, by its constant attempts to destroy the middle class, we'll say, which is essentially dividing people up in the way that they're doing what they're doing. It is a thing, and I think that's a smaller example of what I'm trying to say. Whenever you have the ability from a higher class to make people be concerned by nothing but their class, then you have truly divided the people. And that's where what I'm saying is coming from.
Yeah. Have you noticed, although, that these questions make it seem like you can decide if you want to be liberal or not, but you can't, because every single one of these questions was written by the most liberal person on the planet.
Who was it? Will Wheaton?
I don't know. It sure sounds that way. Anyways, next one. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment.
More important.
Mm-hmm.
That question requires a very long explanation, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, inflation is more important than unemployment. No. Controlling inflation. No, yes, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. I'm trying to think of my angle here. It
Agree
absolutely
or strong?
is. What'd you say?
Agree or strong?
I agree that I'll regular agree, because there's aspects of both, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll regular agree.
Okay. I also regular agreed. It's obviously it is important for unemployment and inflation both to be as low as possible. But
it's a no-brainer answer for anyone anywhere.
Yeah, but what is it that is going to be? What is it that's going to have the best net impact, right? So the best way. What are the best ways to limit inflation? Free up the market as best as possible. Stop stupid government spending. Lower taxes that decreases inflation. All of these things that decrease inflation are all net goods, whereas you can force increased employment and cause terrible bad things, but by decreasing inflation, and that severely builds up the market, a decreased unemployment will naturally follow, whereas forcing low unemployment could actually, depending on how you do it, actually raise inflation and cause all sorts of other net harms. So to set up the market in a way that inflation is as low as possible typically brings about the best net goods and also decreases unemployment.
Right. So the real way, and I don't know how much. I mean, I know you understand a lot of economics, and I don't know how much anyone listening would give a crap and how much you would give a crap. But when we're talking about inflation, the field of study we're concerned with is macroeconomics.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about macroeconomics and the ways to stop recessions, and we'll just say recessions for now because that's essentially how inflation is one of the biggest byproducts of a recession.
Especially right now when we're in a recession.
Especially right now. We're absolutely in a recession. I don't think so many people are still denying it. We absolutely are.
Mm-hmm.
So classically, there's Keynesian economics dictates that because of things that we have. It was a theory in back in what was it called? I always want to say the Black Plague because I'm an idiot. What am I thinking of? You know what I'm thinking of. The worst economical period of the entire United States.
Oh, it was called Black Thursday? Was that the name of it?
Black Thursday.
It was a day that kicked all off, and it was the Great Depression.
Yeah, the kicked off the Great Depression. I think it was Black Thursday.
Yeah.
So these events, it was this Keynesian economics theory for how to stop a depression or a recession and to keep inflation at a good rate was to increase government spending.
Mm-hmm.
And in theory, yes. And during the Great Depression, it worked beautifully. There's two problems with bringing that into the modern era. One, the government wasn't trillions and trillions of dollars in debt in the Great Depression. We weren't taxing the people as ridiculously as we are now. And also, the type of government spending in the Great Depression was completely different than what it is now. So you have what we'll say throwing money into infrastructure, throwing money into government spending in ways that actually made sense, funding more roads, doing more of this thing, increasing money that was able to be earned by people, not money that was thrown at people. So that was a big difference in the style of economics between then and now. So the core idea from a 30,000 foot view down is the same, but executed completely differently, and in my opinion, very wrong now.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a very long-winded way of saying controlling inflation is far more important, but the right way to decrease inflation is by finding the ways that decreases unemployment, which is what the Great Depression was bad at doing in the beginning and ultimately was very successful at.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were no jobs. That was the thing. No one could find work. But as they were slowly finding work, it was because of the government doing this and doing that and doing this thing, because the government was doing good stuff.
Yeah.
Because back then, government was actually not nearly as big, therefore, but just by proxy, not nearly as bad. Hot take.
Probably just as bad, but not doing as much bad.
Yeah, probably just as bad, but smaller, so who cared?
Okay. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation.
I don't like the way that's worded.
Yeah, I know. I told you liberal wrote these.
Yeah. I hate the way that's worded.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Let's throw that question out and not give it agree or disagree, and I'm just going to explain what's wrong with that question.
Mm-hmm. I'm strongly disagreeing, but with the premise of the question.
I'm strongly disagreeing with the question.
Uh-huh.
I'm mildly agreeing with some of it. So here's the thing. The EPA is the worst thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, when the EPA started...
And we say the EPA is the worst thing in the world, knowing that the CCP exists.
Yeah, I'm being sarcastic. I'm being overdramatic. It's not the worst thing in the world. The current incarnation of the EPA is garbage. I hate it. I hate it so much. I wish it would go away. Now, with that being said, when the EPA began, it was because massive corporations were, in fact, doing awful, terrible things that needed to be stopped. They were selling types of pesticides that were destroying massive swaths of wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They were doing lots of things that needed to be checked, and people going, hey, you should stop that. And they were like, no, we're making money. Screw you. So there needed to be someone to step in and stop all of it. And if it has to be from all the way to the top down, then it has to be the government. Okay, I hate that, but it does have to be. This is what the government is for.
Mm-hmm.
High-level problems. This was a high-level problem in the, 50s, 60s, 50s and 60s. When they first started and said, hey, if the pesticides you're making is killing everything and giving everyone cancer, let's stop using it. You know what? That's good. We'll do that. I'm down. When you go beyond that and say, here's the thing, when you are inspecting pork, you have to have this many people on this line, and it has to be certified by the EPA to check this line, and people on the line aren't good enough to know whether pork is bad, okay? That's stupid.
And let's
These
also...
are some of the... And real quick, these are some of the highest rate of bribed government officials in any office anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Period. That's not me just throwing that out there to sound ridiculous. The highest rate of ridiculous, nonsense, BS bribes are in the EPA.
Mm-hmm. And let's also, say say, hey, you can't. I know there's some lucrative oil right here, but you can't drill here because this environment and this habitat is prime habitat for the ring-livered swallowtit. And I said, yeah, but we've been all over here. We looked everywhere. There are no ring-livered swallowtits here. But there could be.
There could be. You never know. Who are we to stop that? That just sounds like downtown anything in LA, but yes. Mm-hmm. So, I hate the question. The problem is anytime you let the government have control, they jack it up. That's the problem with the EPA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here you go. Even better one. From each according to his ability, to each according to his need, is a fundamentally good idea.
They strongly disagreed with that when they wrote that question, didn't they?
I guarantee you they strongly agreed with it. This is the most communist people in the world writing this.
No, that's one of the most neo-Marxist statements I've heard in a very long time. And I'm not even being sarcastic. That's one of the most neo-Marxist things I've ever heard someone say out loud.
I don't know that I would call it neo-Marxist, given that exact quote was found in Marx's book. It's just Marxist.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Neo is just, but if it's modern and they're saying, well, it's actually like this, that's neo-Marxism. That's all they're saying. Neo-Marxist globalism. Next question.
Yeah, of course that's a bad idea.
Next stupid question.
Like, do you guys need us to explain to you why that's a retarded idea?
Just Google it.
Next, a better one. The freer the market, the freer the people.
Yes. Strong agree.
Gentle agree. That is, there will come a point when too free of a market, you will find yourself with
the Silk Road. You get the Silk Road.
Yeah, it's such crazy, monopolies. You wind up with the worst kind of oligarchy and very unfree people. So to an extent, it's true.
I'm gonna disagree with you there, because you don't end up with monopolies in the freest of markets. You end up with the opposite of monopolies in the freer markets. The freer a market is, the less monopolies you'll have. So I'm going to disagree with you on that, because that's not how monopolies tend to be formed. Monopolies tend to be formed outside of a free market.
Yes.
So I'll agree with you, because that is exactly how the dark web, the Silk Road on the dark web, was formed by the freest of markets. So yes, shipping people heroin and children is bad.
No, I have to agree with that. And I will say that is, I have to agree that that's not how monopolies tend to form, given that we have so many monopolies in the United States with the most regulated market in the world. Anyways, maybe not the most in the world, but way too highly regulated of a market here.
Too highly.
Okay. It's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled, branded consumer product.
Did you save the most stupidly worded questions for last?
That's not even last. Okay, so we didn't go into the other communist question. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on this communist question. Of course it's stupid to say it's sad that basic drinking water is now this. Like, that's fantastic that we have people selling drinking water. Yes, I can go to my tap and I can get water. But if you want to go out and spend $18 on a bottle of Fiji water, more power to you. I'm so glad that we have these options.
Welcome to the free market. These are the same people that's saying, like, I can't believe that people are using GMOs and they're actually have hybrid plants. Like, you do realize the guy who started all that is he is a saint as far as I'm concerned, and he saved the third world. Period. I wish I could remember his name off the top of my head right now, and I can't. The man who invented the concept of making hybrid plants, essentially being able to plant hybrid harvest to get larger and more productive crops, saved the third world, and anyone who's going to come at me against that is a giant piece of crap. So it feeds right into that. Bottled drinking water is just go screw yourself. That's stupid.
Okay. I went ahead and strongly disagreed for both of us on the next communist question too. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold.
No. Oh my goodness. I want to vomit.
Next question.
That made me angry. I'm not going to answer that question. That's stupid. That's okay. So no, we're going to talk about it. Never mind. Okay, that's the most Marxist thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm waiting for you to just say, like, all right, so the means of production. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Every time I hear someone say that, I'm like, you're an idiot, aren't you? Not to mention, okay, wow, never mind. I'm going to keep talking about it. I drank all my drinks, so we have to talk about it. Imagine, first of all, thinking that you own land is funny. If you've ever actually owned any land at all, you know you don't own any land at all. Right off the bat. So the government owns all of it, or you wouldn't be paying taxes on it. So just, we need to quit acting like that's the case anyways. Also, shut the heck up. Are you kidding me? All people who rent say that.
I rent, and I would love to have bought some land.
Liberals who rent say that.
Okay. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society.
Imagine sucking so bad that you think that's a legitimate question. Dude, you waited until... Okay, I think you genuinely waited until you knew I was going to be all the way through my bourbon gas with these questions.
It was part of the plan. Okay.
No.
Yes.
Well, what an idiot.
Yeah, obviously it's a ridiculously retarded question. For me, I didn't push strongly disagree on this one, because I do think it's stupid that possibility exists. To just say, oh yeah, let's I buy and sell these stocks, and I'll do this and I'll do this, and that's all of a sudden I'm a billionaire. That's a little stupid, but it's not regrettable. The market exists to allow you to do that, so no, it's not regrettable that you can do that. If you do it, more power to you. I think it's stupid that possibility exists. I think our market is kind of weird and dumb to allow for that, but it does, and the people do it, and more power to them. I'm glad they're billionaires.
Okay, so here's the complaint. We'll throw that out there. First of all, the way that the market exists, for someone who doesn't own anything in the market, for someone who doesn't invest in the market or doesn't understand how investments in stocks works. Okay, I get where you're coming from if you have no clue how it works and you just haven't had the ability to do it. So here's the thing. What the money that was thrown around during the pandemic showed us is that anyone who has a shred of ambition can be a millionaire.
Yep.
We created a hilarious amount of millionaires that were, by the way, between the ages of like 15 and 22, record amounts of of teenage millionaires. Record amounts. Because these people said, oh, I've got $1,000. I'm going to invest this in here. Or I'm going to spend this over here to do this thing. Or I'm going to buy this piece of property to do this with it. We created a record amount of millionaires. Not billionaires, but a record amount of millionaires with that, I don't know, $3,000 people got.
Yep.
That shows me, that answers all the questions about the free market and owning and a lot of other stuff of why it's all stupid right there. But that just made me. That's the question so dumb.
Yeah, that's the thing though. That's kind of the reason why I don't like it, is because now all of a sudden you have millions of dollars trading hands, and now you say, hey, look, there's this, but now there's no goods being produced with that money necessarily per se. It's just all of a sudden just money trading hands over and over again, and that seems like that could. I do think that leads to a bunch of artificial inflation.
It has the ability to, which is, I mean, if you think about, again, Black Thursday,
yeah,
obviously it has the potential to be bad. Sure. It has the potential to be bad.
And that's my only problem with it. The market exists to allow for it, and so I'm happy people do capitalize on it since they have the opportunity to. Okay.
Yeah, we can roll with that answer. Yep. That's cool.
Next. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade.
I'm going to let you define protectionism.
Protectionism is the policy of protecting domestic industries against foreign competition by means of tariffs, subsidies, import quotas, or other restrictions or handicaps placed on the imports of foreign competitors.
I really didn't know what that meant at all. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, so for me, that's a gentle agree. Obviously, allowing foreign competitors will ramp up competition, but then you have China as a foreign competitor, and they're constantly, artificially deflating their currency, to be able to sell things for cheap while still paying their people nothing, but then making so much money, and it's ridiculous. So in times like that, yeah, protectionism is extremely necessary because our people can't compete with that. But even so, the open market is still a good thing. So there are times when it's necessary. So I agree with the sometimes necessary bit.
Yeah, that's a good enough answer.
Yeah.
I feel like they wanted to get into something else with that.
Yeah. All right, next. The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders.
Yes. 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 100 times yes. So that sounds stupid, but yes. And this is coming from someone who spent his entire adult life working for corporations who do exactly that. If it's unfortunate that that's the answer. I don't like that it's the answer. I should preface. I don't like that that's the answer. But we have turned into a world where our economy depends on that being the answer. Is it right? Sure, it's not right. I don't like it. I think it makes for companies that have very unhappy employees. Ultimately, but unfortunately, yes.
Okay, so I disagreed with that. Just because of the phrasing of the question. So two things with that. The first one is the only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders. In today's economy, that is technically its only social responsibility, but I don't think it should be. And secondly, there's why I disagreed with that, is like, if I were to ever start a company, I would not give up my principles and morals just because I had a company. And now if the shareholders are saying, hey, if you do this, it's more profitable. Well, I will not do something that goes against my principles, and that's my primary responsibility is to abide by those principles.
I'm gonna lay you up on that and say absolutely 100%. And I was only saying strongly. I was saying soft agree because we have entered into a place where that unfortunately now must be the case. It is regrettable that is the case.
All right. Next one. The rich are too highly taxed.
Well, no, they're taxed just right.
I say they're way too highly taxed. To increase say, hey, because you make more money, you pay this higher percent, or your capital gains are significantly higher percent than any of your other. And that's how most rich people make their money, through capital gains. Say capital gains are taxed at a significantly higher rate than any income bracket. That's ridiculous.
Okay, so let me rephrase this I'll give an educated answer. How religiously do you follow Thomas Sowell?
Not much.
Okay, that's your homework. Go watch some Thomas Sowell videos. He's the ultimate walking contradiction for liberals. He was back in the 80s and 90s. He was a very high-profile guy who argued that everything that the government does for handing out money to people is wrong, blah, 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 blah. He's black. So he's one of my idols. He's incredible. So say the question one more time, and I'll give you my answer one more time with an actual educated answer.
Okay. The rich are too highly taxed.
So here's the thing. Thomas Sowell says corporations should not be taxed at all.
Absolutely.
There should be no tax on corporations.
Absolutely.
Because their money should be freed up to go do more things and spend more money, which creates more jobs, creates more wealth for the individual. So, but I don't think rich individuals are too highly taxed. So,
okay.
And I guess I'm contradicting a little bit here, and I realize that, but here's the thing. I think that the most recent developments have made them too highly taxed. California has made their rich too highly taxed, which you see even in little things like Gordon Ramsay moving his restaurant out of California for reasons like that.
Or Elon Musk moving to Texas.
Elon Musk moving to Texas. But even in Texas, you have higher tax rates for people who make more money than people who make less money. So that's where I'm getting at.
Only with the federal, Texas does not have a state income tax.
Okay, you know what I mean. Anyway, we're going to take California and Oregon out of the equation. And Oregon only becomes Portland.
Okay.
We're going to take California and Portland out of and Oregon out of the equation to say, excuse me, there are 5 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, we had a slightly different tax bracket for people in different amounts of money. Now, I as someone who considers themselves dead set in the middle class, right? Lower middle class to middle class. That's me. Lower middle class, middle class. I pay more taxes than someone who makes less money than me. That's okay.
So your dollar amount. Okay, so two things about that. First, your dollar amount should be higher. That doesn't mean your percent should be higher. Second, the taxes, the extra taxes that rich people pay. So the taxes that affect rich people the most, the three tax groups, three tax groups that affect rich people the most are, of all the taxes, the three specifically that should not exist: income tax, capital gains tax, and property tax.
Sure.
So, like, no matter how you look at it, like, even so, they should pay more. If someone makes $2 billion a year, he should pay a higher dollar amount than me. But I think that the rich pay proportionally too much tax. And
they pay proportionally too much tax right now. I will say that 5 years ago, I didn't have a problem with it. I'll say it like that. How's that sound?
Okay.
We're mildly disagreeing, but not drastically.
Okay. Next. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care.
1,000%.
Absolutely. Yes. If I come to a place that says I have $1, they say, okay, well then go see the dude in the back room and say, I have $100 billion and I can get any freaking thing I want. He should be able to get any freaking thing he wants.
The strongest agree possible. Mm-hmm. And that is with absolutely everything. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. How is that a question? The fact that that's a question for people blows my mind.
Yeah, that's so stupid and ridiculous. Okay.
Of course, if you have more money, you should have more access to more things. What kind of a stupid question is that? Like, I'm not a millionaire. Why don't I have a yacht? You idiot. And also, okay, everyone wants to point to Canada right away, right? Like, oh, the free healthcare, this and this. The UN investigated Canada for crimes against humanity because of how bad their healthcare system was.
And they put in the thing that now Canada must allow people to have their own health insurance if they want it because of how terrible nationalized healthcare is.
It's terrible, but beyond that, you have places like, I don't know if you remember this, it wasn't a huge story, but it was a big enough story. Right at the beginning of the Trump administration, there was a family who was not allowed to pursue other options for their dying child. That was to the point where they had armed. It wasn't. Where was that? Was that in Britain?
It was in Britain.
Yeah. So they actually prevented a family from seeking out better care for their dying child because it went against their healthcare stuff. I have never, as a parent, I was furious.
Mm-hmm. See, now, did you know that kid? Here's what made it worse. That kid had dual citizenship.
I know. That's the reason why it was such a nightmare. I mean, like, imagine. Okay, this is back to the big government thing. Do we have any bleeps left?
If I remember to bleep it, I'll have to remember that something said because I don't always listen to it while I edit.
Okay, this is just. This whole topic really just makes me angry.
Yeah.
If your government has the ability to say, no, you have national health care. You are not allowed to seek outside of it, even though you are going to go pay for it, to save your child's life. To the point where we are going to put armed guards paid by the government outside of the hospital bedroom to prevent you from taking them to a place to heal your child. Fuck your government. Mm-hmm. Period. That's the most insane. This is the reason why we threw all the tea out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next.
Along the lines of the Queen dying, this is why we did it.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever forget why, this is that little child is why. Please go to the next question.
Yep, next. Governments should penalize businesses that mislead the public.
Yeah.
I mean, I gently agree. If it's like, hey, I'm lying about the fact that I put, or back in the day, I can't think of the dude's name. The dude knew for a fact that the lead was causing cancer, and he wanted to put it in the gasoline anyway because it was cheaper, and he killed a bunch of people with that. That was wrong. They shouldn't have been allowed to do that. But
I'm going to change it because of my morals. I strongly agree that the government. I forget the wording of the question already. I strongly agree that they should be penalized.
Yeah, strongly agree.
I strongly agree.
Yeah, I put a gently agree, because I don't care if say, hey, this is organic, because organic means came from a living thing, but it's not certified organic. That's fine.
A pack of wolves.
You know. Yeah, so it's a gentle agree. It has to be egregious.
It has to be egregious.
Yeah. Okay. Next. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies.
Yeah, they put too many words in there just to make a stupid question. Read it out loud one more time.
A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies.
I think it happens naturally.
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't require. You don't.
Yeah, it doesn't require.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And actually, think about this. Let's just isolate the first 6 words here. A genuine free market requires restrictions.
Yeah, that's the issue. I had to have you repeat it again because it was so dumb. I had to listen to it a different way. That's stupid.
We can't look at the baby right now, buddy. We gotta Daddy's doing stuff. Okay.
That baby is currently due.
This one says, now look at some of your personal social values. The next one. Abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal.
Oh my goodness. Well, did we already talk about this?
Yeah. Well, not on one that nobody listened to.
I think we just said it's a great day for America, everybody.
Yeah.
The day after. It was all that we did. Because that was Friday, we recorded on Saturday, and we said it's a great day for America. Our answers are already well documented.
So if you ask any doctor who's being honest, even there was one doctor, he was like the man side, the doctor side of who started Planned Parenthood. Can't think of the guy's name. But he made the statement, it's a false argument to say abortion saved the life of a mother. He said there is no such thing as an abortion that saves the life of the mother. So there will never be a time that, he said, now, removing the baby from in there, forcing a premature birth may be necessary to save the life of a mother, but there will never be a time when just the act of killing the baby will help the mother will help the mother in any way. So now that we know, so now we know that even there is no time when the woman's life is threatened that abortion would solve it. So it should even be illegal then.
So we're going to get into semantics very quickly, and I don't want to sit here and talk about this the whole time, but it's worth mentioning. When you are talking about situations in which carrying a pregnancy to full term will greatly endanger or guarantee, in some cases it has guaranteed a death. When it greatly endangers or guarantees the death of the woman, there are choices that can be made, but the choice that has to be made does not have to be abortion.
And that's what it is. It's like, hey, if you carry this baby to term, then you will likely die. What the choice then is, almost no doctor will recommend abortion. What 99% of doctors will say is, and the 1% is a bunch of quack faggots. 99% of doctors, they'll say this: if you carry this baby to term, it will kill you. So we're gonna wait a little bit, wait for the baby to reach premature stage, and then we'll force a delivery at this time, and we'll be able to save you, and we might even be able to save the baby.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah. Okay, next. All authorities should be questioned.
Well, yeah.
I'm on the verge between a basic disagree and a basic agree, because the authority is there for a reason. He beareth not the sword in vain. But also, I don't think you should just blindly follow. So
exactly. Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
You should always go, but why? And we're even going to go all the way down to. Obviously, we've said here and trash talk the government so much. Obviously, our answer is very clear on why we're saying that for the government. So we'll say it this way: you and I are both pretty religious people. So there is, to a degree, I will even say this is the case for religious figures. So, for instance, this is something that means nothing to you and only means something to me by proxy at the moment, because technically speaking. I love saying that I'm Catholic because it makes you annoyed. Because I'm obviously I'm not Catholic. But I greatly enjoy everything about the Catholic Church. I really do. But we're going to gloss over that.
It's beautifully traditional.
it's beautifully traditional. Shia LaBeouf thinks it's beautifully traditional. That guy's a whack job. Inside of that, I question an awful lot of authority, namely the ultimate figure of authority in the Catholic Church, the Pope.
God?
I greatly, no, you know God, God, Jesus, the Saurus Rex. I greatly question the Pope's authority, greatly, because it's nonsense.
Sure.
The concept of a Pope is nonsense. The concept of the figure is nonsense. The concept of how blindly people look, well, this was a bad 5 years ago, but the new Pope was like, God told me it's okay now. You can do all the gay things. That's kind of dumb. So, obviously, even inside of religion, in all scenarios, question authority. When you're a child and you're trying to question your parents, maybe that's a little bit different because you don't know what's best for you and you're a child and you're stupid. But that's not what we're talking about. So, I'm going to go with, I strongly agree you should question all authority.
Okay, well, I'm going to change your answer from strongly agree because... Well, and actually, I have to disagree with the statement, all authority should be questioned, because, now to say, a strong disagree would be no authority should be questioned. I'm doing a basic disagree, a basic disagree to the statement, all authority should be questioned, because there are some authorities that I believe should never be questioned, because as a Christian, I believe that the Bible is the ultimate authority in my life.
Yeah, if you want to get like that level of whatever the occasion, that's fine.
I will absolutely not be questioning the Bible anytime soon.
Okay, let's rephrase the question to make sense with what I'm trying to say. Any human individual or human group of people that make up a body of authority.
Oh, well, of course.
Okay. That's where I'm coming from.
Okay. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
That's situational.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with it. That's justice. I don't think I should necessarily, you poke out my eye, I should then walk up and poke out your eye. However, if you poke out my eye and we go to the community, we go to society, and the community and society say, hey, Tyler poked out Sean's eye. And then the logical consensus is, well, poke out Tyler's eye. You know?
Yeah. So this is... my favorite analogy here of all time kind of goes with that. Mm-hmm. It's the Batman argument, right? Well, if I kill a killer and I become a killer, there are now the same number of killers in the world. Well, hey, maybe kill 100 of them. So, I mean, then all of a sudden it's fine. That's why people are just like, well, there should be these things in place and it shouldn't be equal. And just because he killed someone doesn't mean you should kill. Yes, you should.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go do what the Romans did. Touch face to face, fingertip to fingertip, foot to foot. With the dead body you killed. There you go. That's the ultimate justice.
And also, here's the thing, too. If I go out and I kill a murderer, there is technically the same number of killers, but there's one fewer murderer.
There's one fewer murderer.
Killer, I'm okay. I like killers. I hate murderers.
Yeah. Okay. I know. I've known a few great killers.
Next. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis.
I agree with that pretty darn strongly. Yes, I agree.
Okay, so you strongly agree?
It's situational, so I'll say regular agree.
Okay, so I actually disagree. I think that is that's actually a fantastic use of tax money, way better use of tax money than where most of our taxes go. And I would rather tax money go to supporting supporting the arts and preservations of history and people who preserve stories and people who preserve history than going to support banks and car companies.
Correct, but here's the thing. There's a reason why I say it's situational. There are many, many, many museums, historical foundations, whatever, that can completely exist on their own and do so just fine. And the changes that they make, and maybe some improvements, maybe hiring, maybe whatever it happens to be, museums that acquire certain very rare specific pieces for collections that people want to see are from government funding, which is from taxpayer money. So, okay, to a degree, I can see how some things are necessary, but no, I should not be expected to. I can't stand. There are some museums out there that are genuine tax-funded things, like the Museum of Sex is government funded.
Well,
I don't want to fund.
Obviously, that's garbage. Yeah, but this says any theaters or museums. Some theaters and museums, I think it's perfectly fine to be propped up with taxpayer money.
situational.
Yeah. Like the Smithsonian. I like the Smithsonian as a museum. And not as an organization, but as a museum.
The Smithsonian could 100% exist without taxpayer money. If they were like, hey, we're no longer government funded. We're taking no government funded. We did that for you specifically. So if anyone wants to contribute to us and give us money to keep us going, you have that option. Not obligation, option.
And people would do it.
And people would do it. And that's what I think should happen.
Yeah. All right. Next. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory.
That's a good one.
Hopefully not much more. Okay.
No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be compulsory?
No, I don't think it should be compulsory. I don't think you should have to. I mean, just because I think that the type of structure that I think the structure should be changed to a degree. The same way like most college classes do not require your attendance. And people do very, very well in those classes and learn an awful lot if they wish to. And I think that the success of those types of organizations is something that the public school system should take on.
Okay, so I think the public school system should be completely disbanded, but the way it sits as it is right now, attendance should be compulsory the way it is right now.
Okay, that's a good... I'll agree with you and hold my answer at the same time.
Yep. Okay, next. All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind.
Better for everyone.
Now, okay, so I'm gonna disagree because like depending what you mean by different sorts of people. Like if you mean like the Asians and the blacks, it's not better for everyone that the Asians and blacks stay with Asians and blacks, but it is better for everyone that criminals stay with criminals.
Yeah, that's a loaded question. That's an awfully loaded question.
Yeah, it's a stupid question. Okay, you and I are both going to strongly agree with this one. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, next. It is natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents.
No.
I mean...
Is it natural?
Yeah.
Does it happen? Yes.
Yeah, like, that's such a stupid question. Should
that's
they
a dumb question.
Should they? No, they should not. Do they naturally do so? Yes. So I guess I have to give a gentle agree.
Speaking of people who are wanting to scream into the microphone, I'm just kidding. I think the problem with that question is it leads into that awful movie about the red panda. Yeah, and it leads into public schools being able to vaccinate your children without telling your parents.
Yeah, it's ridiculous and gay.
So does it have the ability to be bad? Yes. Is it natural for them to still do it? Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, that's why I gave it a gentle agree. It is natural. It is natural, but yeah. Okay.
It is natural, but yeah.
Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense.
Hey, now I can be a libertarian again. Of course it shouldn't be.
Strongly?
I strongly agree that it's stupid that it's regulated at all.
I give a gentle agree on that. It is technically, I think it should be the same kind of thing. High in public should be the same as drunk in public. So.
Oh, absolutely. But that's not. But that's not the question.
Yeah, so I gave a gentle agree that it should not be a criminal offense. The mere act of possessing for yourself, yeah, probably not. But however. However. Yeah. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs.
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
Yeah. That's the thing.
No, it shouldn't be. No.
Yeah, and that's the thing. In today's market, Patrick, put that down. In today's market, I think that's the best use of our current school system. But the best use of a school is to get you a classical education, to learn history, to learn the arts, to learn some cool, good stuff, and then you should be learning. Your dad should be teaching you how to keep your.
Yeah. 100%. This is the reason why people are like, I wasn't taught that in school. Well, you weren't taught it by your parents either, apparently, because you're stupid. Like, it's not the school's job to teach you how to sew. It's not the school's job to teach you how to keep your checkbook. It's just not.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's a lot of things. It was like that music video that was popular forever ago that says, "Don't go to school because school doesn't teach you all the important things." Get some parents then. I don't know what to tell you. Find a mentor.
Yeah. All right. Next. The most important thing... Oh, no, wrong one. Crap. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce.
I hate sounding like Hitler. I really do. Wow.
If you have Downs, have kids. I don't care. No, that's stupid.
I don't care either. I don't care either. So let me put it to you this way. I don't care, but I want to present this to you. I knew a lady, a girl at the time, who she had a child, and she found out that the child that she had was born with a very, very strange birth defect, grew hair all over his face, had lots of problems, and she was told, hey, if you continue to have children with the person you are married to, because of the types of recessive genes that you have, you will continue to have children just like this child right here. Now, that child is a blessing to them and all that's great, but they shouldn't be having more kids.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Okay.
they shouldn't be forced to. They should be making the decision not to, but you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline.
No, it's not the most important thing. It's not even top 3.
I gave it a gentle agree. It is not the most important thing, but it is extremely important. Extremely important.
Yeah, it's extremely important. Not even top 3, I would say.
Okay. There are no savage and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures.
Well, you mean like peoples, as in like groups of people, or individuals?
Well, so peoples as a plural. Therefore, so like the Muslims are a people.
Yeah, well, then it's a cultural thing.
The Hawaiians are a people. No,
it's a cultural thing.
No. So, but what they're saying is the question is, it's not that these people are no one is like, it's not that these people are savage and these people are civilized. Their culture is just different. They're not savages. They're just different, is what they're saying.
Well, their culture has raised them in a way and given them values and morals, or lack of morals, turning them into these people out of proxy. If you have a pit bull and you constantly pet it and love on it and have it hang around your children all day, you're going to have a wonderfully adorable dog. And if you beat it every day, you're going to have a psycho killer.
Okay, but the question isn't there are no savage and civilized persons. That refers to individuals. Peoples refers to what they're saying is their culture is just different. So don't call them, don't say that they're savage or evil. They're just different than what you're used to. Is what this question is.
If that's what you're trying to say, then yes, they're evil.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what the question is saying. I want to make sure you didn't accidentally give the wrong answer there.
Yeah, then they're evil. Yeah, they're absolutely evil.
Absolutely.
That's a stupid question.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Those who are able to work but refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support.
He that shall not work, neither shall he eat.
Exactly. When you are troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things.
Yeah,
absolutely. Life sucks. You can't stop life from sucking. I have a kid. I take care of my kid. I busy myself with my kid. I love my kid. My life does not suck because,
I think that question's loaded because there's some things that you could kind of take away from that could be bad. But yeah, obviously thinking about better things is going to make your life better to a degree.
They're trying to make like this pro therapy, concentrate on your problems so you can fix them kind of thing.
Yeah,
I hate therapy.
Yeah.
Therapy's for queers. First generation. Yep.
I'm okay with it. But I'm obviously thinking about good things is better for you.
First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country.
Of course they can.
Oh yeah, absolutely they can. Yeah, like they typically don't. It's usually their kids that are, but they sure can.
And generally speaking, the vast majority of second integration immigrants are completely immersed in American society. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason for that. It's because it's awesome and they love it.
Yeah. What's
The
good?
first immigration immigrants, the ones that create really great second immigration immigrants, are the ones who fully immerse themselves into the society. They can keep their traditions as far as like, I am going to have a quinceañera. That's fantastic. Keep doing that. Also, don't push your stupid values on me. That's stupid.
Okay. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us.
For the most successful corporations, top 5.
It just says
Absolutely.
most successful. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you keep the because that's the thing. It's not what the corporations decide necessarily is good for them, because they're just going to pick with what makes them money. That could be good for people. It could not be good for people. What is genuinely good for the huge corporations, though, is what? Tax cuts, all the stuff that will wind up always, as much as people refuse to admit it, trickle-down economics is a thing.
Trickle-down economics exists. I get it. Look, I completely understand. The whole George W. Bush thing talking about trickle-down economics did take an awful long time to trickle down, but it still trickled down.
Okay. Next. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding.
Absolutely.
Strongly agree?
I don't want public funding as in tax money.
I guess.
Then they should never see a drop of it. If you mean should people pay for it, that's up to them.
Yeah. So, I'm on the same thing with I'm on the same thing as the stuff. Actually, a gentle disagree, because when you're making all your money from advertisers and stuff, you will invariably wind up pushing your advertisers' interest versus necessarily reporting news, giving good content, and whatever. So because of that, I give a mild disagree. There's a time and a place, I think, for it.
Well, you also end up with NPR.
Yes.
PBS.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So I'm split.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna have to blaze through these. We're already out at our time, and so we now no explanations, just the answer. Okay.
Oh, gross. Okay.
Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Strongly agree.
Sure.
A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress in a democratic political system. Yep. Strongly disagree. I hate one-party states. That's ridiculous.
Don't finish the question.
That's so ridiculous. If you said advantage of one-party state, no.
The advantage of one party, just jump off the bridge. Long walk, short Pierre. Next question.
Yeah. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. Strongly disagree.
Strongly disagree. Don't get out of my house.
The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. Strongly agree.
Strongly agree. What do you mean option?
In civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, hierarchies automatically form, so yes.
Yeah, I guess, gentle agree for me.
No, it's strongly agree out of sheer necessity. It happens no matter what. Keep going.
Okay. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything should not be considered art at all. Strongly agree.
I don't care. I just don't care.
So
I'm giving you neutral. Screw you. I'm giving a neutral answer. I don't care.
I'm giving you a gentle agree. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. Strongly agree.
Yes. Strongly agree. Absolutely strongly agree. Screw you. It never works. Screw you.
It is a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals. Yes, strongly agree. There are some that you cannot.
Night Stalker. Prime example. Kill him.
Yep. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. Gentle disagree.
No. No. Light agree.
Huh?
Light agree.
Light agree? Okay. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. Strong agree.
We're old school.
Yep. I'm your father, son.
Father, dear, I'm father.
Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries.
I don't want to answer that question. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's extremely stupid. No, they're not. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. No.
Thank you, George Orwell.
Absolutely not. Okay. Okay. Astrology accurately explains many things.
Say that again. Please don't say it again what I think you said.
Astrology accurately explains many things.
I want to kill whoever said that.
Okay, so I'm only giving this a gentle disagree. I'm giving a tiny bit. Giving a tiny bit of a thing. If it says, "Hey, because you were born at this time, that's why your personality is this way," that's obviously false. So modern astrology is wrong in every way. However, there is a reason why in the Bible God said don't deal with astrologers and these people. I don't think he's saying disagree. He didn't say don't deal with them because they're stupid. There has to be something to it somewhere. And so there are some things that I think, Okay, next question. You cannot be truly moral without being religious. That's a strong agreement.
I wish we had time to talk about that one, but you know where we stand.
Yeah, absolutely. But you can't be screaming at me, buddy. Okay. Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. Strong agree.
If we had the society that we had when the verses that we're both thinking of right now were a thing, then
Mm-hmm. So are you just giving a gentle agree then because of our current society?
Yeah.
Okay. Some people are naturally unlucky. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm giving a gentle agree.
Gentle agree.
Yeah. It is important that my child's school instills religious values. My kid's going to be homeschooled, but if I put him to a school, yes, strongly agree. I would not send him to a school that did not instill religious values.
I strongly disagree because I don't want any school system to have the ability to push any particular religion they would like on my child. If I got to pick, sure.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. My kid would not go to a school that isn't. Okay. Anyway.
The libertarian in me wants the school to not teach my kids about religion. I'm doing that myself. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Anyways, finally, a look at sex. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral. I'm saying strongly agree, except I think it's always immoral. So, same-sex couples in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Strongly disagree. They should absolutely be excluded.
Nope, sticking with the libertarian answer. I don't care.
You think that same-sex couples should be allowed to adopt kids? You're in favor of child abuse.
I don't care.
Okay, Tyler agrees with child abuse.
I'm going to be honest. The studies don't show that, and I can't go against it, and I have to be libertarian.
The studies show that almost every single same-sex parent sexually abuses their kids. What are you talking about?
It's not the case, and we don't have time to go into it, but it definitely isn't.
I'm glad you liked that kid got monkeypox.
That's a very strong argument. Go to the next question.
Pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population.
I just got through saying I was going to be a libertarian, didn't I?
Mm-hmm. I'm still giving... I'm not going to give a strong disagree, but I'm giving a gentle disagree.
Okay. Gentle's fine.
Mm-hmm. What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state.
Libertarian.
Strong or gentle?
Strong.
Mm-hmm. I'm giving just a gentle. Next one. No one can feel naturally homosexual.
Oh no, I don't agree with that.
I disagree. Like Patrick, you can't touch cords, you little turd. Yeah, no, it's as people say, it's a fallen world. What shouldn't be natural is sometimes. These days, openness about sex has gone too far. Absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I'm still upset at you for thinking the gays should be able to.
I know you are.
Like that.
I know you are. I get it.
Okay. So this is This is a this was a political compass test, by the way.
Oh. Jeez, where are we?
Yeah. So this doesn't okay. So would you like proof that it's not accurate?
Oh, sure.
Okay. So this part I think is true. I'm more authoritarian than you. You're more libertarian than me.
That sounds right.
That part's true. It's showing me as slightly more to the left than you.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah, you are economic right 5.13 and social libertarian authoritarian towards authoritarian 0.46.
That sounds like me.
I am economic left and right towards the right 4.5, almost a full point less than you to the right, according to them. And then social libertarian authoritarian 2.36, almost 2 full points more authoritarian.
You communist piece of crap.
Oh, and also I want you to hear here's proof that they don't that they don't believe in this, or not, that they're wrong about these things. Okay. Oh, they changed it to countries instead of people. Okay, so they had far right. Used to have far right authoritarian as being Hitler, and then a bit more, and then a bit more libertarian, and then a bit more to the left. Which, by the way, Hitler was as left as they get. Who are they trying to kid? But anyway,
he was literally the left. He was literally the left extreme versus the right extreme.
Yeah. It was Stalin was the.
No one. I don't think anyone knows what fascism means anymore. Keep going.
Oh, they don't. As Michael Knowles said, I will bet my entire life. This is a quote from Michael Knowles. I will bet my entire life savings that none of them have read or even heard of the doctrine of fascism as written by Mussolini.
As written by Mussolini. God bless Michael Knowles. Keep going.
Yeah. But now they had Margaret Thatcher as being just as authoritarian, but farther to the. No, I'm sorry. Just as far to the right, but not quite as authoritarian as Hitler.
Oh my goodness.
So it was ridiculous. But now they just have countries, and I guess they might be right on this one now. The authoritarian countries are to the left is North Korea and China, and to the right is Saudi Arabia and Singapore. Maybe. I guess I could give them that maybe, because, yeah. Saudi Arabia and Singapore are both highly religious countries, and so that's more right than left. Sure, why not? Yeah, but anyway.
I hate those answers, but they are what they are.
Yeah. Obviously something was skewed, because there's no way in real life that I am farther left than you, or let's say farther left, closer to the center. Let's put it
closer
that way.
To the center,
because we're both to the right. So there's
because because it makes you sad to think about.
But it's not possible.
I do know it's not possible.
Yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing those questions, and also we know now we know that my brother is in favor of the sexual abuse of children. Good day, folks.
Sounds